I am.
Yeah, last time we did this, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna take a break for 15 minutes and then we'll head straight into, episode 2. I fucking lied. Here we are 2 weeks later. For episode 2, session 2.
15-minute turned into 15-day.
15 times 24 hours.
Why do you do that?
Because I'm a liar.
Oh, how dare!
It's because I had a
we all
work
have
thing come
families
up,
on
and then
this
Easter
episode.
happened.
Work thing, Easter, Swish.
Swish!
Swish. Kobe, rest in peace.
I feel like you're the type of person to not be able to play basketball.
What the fuck? You'd be correct, but also what the fuck?
Well,
Actually,
I'm not,
Post-up time.
I
would
also
get
cannot play
destroyed
basketball.
by Kay and Austin in basketball.
It's
But
because they're
at
short,
one point
isn't
or
it?
another, I did know how to play, and I was like somewhat decent.
Here's the thing, Talon. You'd get destroyed by Kay because Kay, for one, is taller, faster, and stronger than all of us. And can play the
I'm
game.
actually faster than Kay.
Probably.
We play tag, and
What ends up happening
Loop
when
that
we play
bitch.
basketball? What ends up happening when we play basketball? I tackle you onto the concrete, and Kay goes, "What the fuck, ref? What
Hey
were
guys,
you doing?"
welcome back to Concordis. On today's episode, we have a special sponsor, AFK Journey.
Oh,
No.
no. I mean,
No,
hey,
we
if
definitely do
KFK
not.
Journey sponsors me, I will sell out. I
We
will
are,
sell out.
we are in no way sponsored by or affiliated with AFK Journey.
This
Or
We
game
love
is like
AFK
mid.
Journey.
This game is mid, but like I will 100%
I
sell
don't
out,
want to.
just so I can get more cunty characters.
I've been playing AFK Journey for hours on end. I've been late to work 3 times.
I've spent all of my credit cards on them.
None of us picked the same server because we didn't know that was a stupid fucking function. So none of us can play together. Don't you want to play?
There's a
I
server
spent my
function.
mom's money.
I use my dad's credit card, so I don't care about the numbers.
One
We
time,
did that
I
one
reached
time.
level 123 of the AFK battles, and I got in a wreck. But I'm not worried about it because AFK Journey's got my back.
But the auto battle function continued going while I was in the emergency room.
By the time I was out of my coma,
By the time I was out of my coma, I was level 196.
Please, for the love of God, tell me that we are not recording yet.
No, we are. We have been.
Oh, that's all in there.
Among
That's all.
the sands of Solent
Thank God.
is one
yes.
special rule. Survival. And within survival, there is self-preservation. Each person for themselves, and among the sands, when traveling Solent, dangerous monsters come about. Creatures that become risks to the very idea of civilization. Guards are not allowed. The guards of pretty much every other continent are not allowed to watch over Solent like it does other continents, like it does the other islands. Solent has its own special force. People do not travel the sands. It's too dangerous. But there are very few exceptions where people, strong enough, adventurous enough, get to see the beauty that is within Solent. Glassridge is a gleaming jewel among the sands. An oasis with greenery and trees and personality, and it's buzzing with wonder. Yet somehow, the dangerous creatures of the sands still rear their teeth among the city. 3 of you exit the tavern that you had just been in, the Crack's End, a fan favorite. As you watch Azrael sort of saunter off to find their bounty, sort of stand there. You have a few hours before dusk, before the dance at the Blood Rose begins. What do you wish to do with those hours?
Hey, bro. Do you think your brothers have, like, anything nicer than what I'm wearing?
They might. That's a difficult question for both of them. But, you know, we all attend events that require a certain dress code, so probably have something.
Okay.
Do you think I'm fine with what I'm wearing?
I mean, Rethne, and I mean no offense by this at all, I don't think most of the people in Solent have seen someone with your qualities. So I think whatever you wear, they'll still be enamored with you.
Is that a good thing?
I mean, sure. It depends on how you view attention.
Okay. You're so nice to me. I love you so much.
I have a deep care for you as well, Rethne.
Yeah, interesting enough. Rethne is a lot more feral looking of a water genasi. Water genasi that... Dude. Fucking don't do that to me while I'm fucking... Don't look at me and go, rawr. Like...
The show must go on, Talon.
What just happened to Kate?
Oh.
Okay.
Dude, you're lucky that when you said there was one rule in Solent, I didn't say fuck bitches get money, because
So
that was
true.
in my head.
I immediately texted Rowan that there is one rule AFK journeys.
AFK journey.
You have
Auto
to be
battle,
AFK
auto
level.
battle, auto battle.
One rule, you have to be level 150 in the AFK battle in
So-
order to join our guild.
So, hold up, Town. When are we getting auto battles in D&D?
Dude, don't test me because I'll make something. I'm just kidding. I won't. If I get sponsored by AFK Journey, I'll make an auto battling mechanic.
What? We just ask Wyatt. Let's be so for
I
real.
can do it myself. Respect
Oh,
to
we-
Wyatt, but I can do it too.
You can do
Talon
it.
is
You can do
probably
it.
the most experienced with creating a game system, so I would trust Talon.
Sorry. In any case, yes, Rethne is, and I mean, you guys have been in Solent, in Glassridge specifically, for a while. You've seen other water genasi, and they seem a lot more elven-like, a lot more humanoid, with human characteristics or elven characteristics, or even like dwarf or halfling characteristics. Obviously, this is most likely because that's more commonly what, genasis intermingle with, especially on the surface. But Rethne has a lot more Triton characteristics, a lot more Locath, a lot more, aquatic species that sort of lend to a more aquatic / feral sort of like appearance. But they're both water Nasi all the same. What was I gonna say?
Yeah.
With that, so are you guys going back to your state to find,
Yeah,
nice clothes?
that's probably the best, because like I said, Rob is in, like, basically depression clothes.
Yeah, right.
That
About
was
to go
not
get a
it.
drink, still in the sweatpants that have like...
Yeah, Rob is
baggy
in essential
Metallica
for
t-shirt.
Poland. Technically, is wearing, like, an oversized t-shirt with holes in it and stains.
Mhm.
No,
And
it's a
sweat.
Weezer t-shirt.
It's totally a Weezer.
No Weezer.
No, out of Rob and Fel, I think Fel is the one that listens to
Didn't-
Weezer out of the two of them.
Didn't we just we made Weezer canon at some
got my
point?
head.
No,
That's
we
an
made-
awesome-
You made Weezer
that's an
canon
awesome-
in your campaign, and
No.
No.
not mine.
No.
No, because we talked about it. It's Garrett.
Yeah, it's canon in Hunter's Haven.
Oh, that's what it was. It was Hunter's
Okay.
Haven. Yeah,
Away
it
from
was
me.
in Austin's campaign in World.
Yeah, and it's not Weezer, it's the Asthmatics.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. That's
Which
what I was
actually
thi- that's
goes
what I was
hard as a
thinking
band
of.
name. Considerably.
Hold on.
Alright, so you go back to the Leodon estate. That dog jump scared me.
Wait, look at how ugly she is.
Oh my god. That is an
Alright, we go-
oversized rat.
Fucking
Okay.
estate. Ugh.
On your way there, you do see, oh my god, sorry. Brain freeze. Give me
We see a
moment.
bitch on the way home.
Give me a moment to go to my docs and notes to see all the NPCs that are existent in the world of Concordis.
I am struggling. Messages from, PC crashed from Austin. That's crazy. Gotta love it. It's because bro literally sits in a microwave all day. His room is just a microwave. Where is the...
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Well, I guess while we're waiting for Austin to come back, well, now you can see his like fucking face disappear from the OBS recording. That's so funny. There's something I can give on the general knowledge of Concordis. Not Concordis. Glassridge. Glassridge is a large city. We mostly focus up in North Glassridge, as the lower you go, the more uninteresting it gets from both a, just a gameplay perspective, but also just that's how the city is. All three of the families reside pretty much in the upper part of North Glassridge. So most of the southern Glassridge is where a lot of council meetings happen. It's where a lot of where Ravafina's mother goes, and where some of the family friend goes, and where the Gilmere goes, and the Gilmeres and the Buckleys go. Buckleys?
Buckwheat.
I mispronounce my own NPCs all the time. That's where a lot of common things are held, because it's where common people get to voice their opinions on some of the city affairs and things like that. However, North Glassridge is also a battlefield controlled by 3 different major entities. The Gilmeres are obviously in charge of a certain ward of the North Glassridge. However, it's pretty commonly known that the Gilmeres are owned by the Bloodhearts at this point. And similarly, the Buxleys are pretty much owned by the Eternal Lights. This has become pretty much common knowledge in Glassridge. However, not a lot of people are willing to admit it vocally. They sort of just go along as the Bloodhearts, the Bleeding Hearts, and the Eternal Lights are just these quirky little groups that operate on the side. Straight up. While the Leodons control pretty much the bottom half of North Glassridge, up to a certain point where the rest of Glassridge is held together by 3 other noble families. But the Leodons remain unbought and uncontrolled by some external force, which leads them to be trusted, unlike the Gilmeres or the Buxleys, which is why the Leodon estate holds probably the most power in Glassridge, because they are trusted so well. This is all information you all pretty much learn being in Glassridge for a considerable amount of time, especially Rethni and Fel and Ravafina, because you're residing in the Leodon estate. As you're, Austin's not back yet, but as you're moving, away from the Crack's End towards the Leodon estate, you do see Elwyn as he's coming towards the tavern, knowing that's where the place you guys would be. He walks strutting as if he's accomplished something, and as he gets to you and sees you, are we not going to the tavern?
We had tavern time. We've been invited to a dance, so...
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that's alright. I wasn't really feeling the tavern myself, but I was going because you were. I'm assuming Fel will need some clothes.
Preferably.
Well, you can borrow from my closet. And Owen turns on his heel and begins to walk to the estate.
Rob will follow behind, and then we'll turn to Rethny again and be like, Rethny, if you want to change, most of my clothes won't fit you, but I'm sure there are certain articles that we can mix and match to manage something if you want.
So, we could play dress up together?
She'll kind of like grit her teeth and like, you can tell that she's like really trying to hold in like one of those deep sighs. She's like, yes, we can play dress up.
Oh my god, Barbie, let's go.
I haven't done that since I was a little girl. I think it'd be so fun. I never get to see you in any different clothing.
You're so depressed all of the time.
Thank you, Rethny. I'm sure this would be so much fun.
On the
Like a
way,
man.
I need to look.
Let me pull up this.
As you guys sort of break away from the Gilmere ward and you move past, the founder is a statue that you pass. It's upon the wall of the wall dividing the Leodon and Gilmere section, and basically, as another fun fact, the founder is depicting a Leodon. As you know, the statue looks over Hatch Square, which Hatch Woods and Hatch Square are essentially the starting point of the rest of Glassridge, where it began and started to expand outwards.
Yeah, that's like, like how every city has like those towns where they're like,
Meow, meow.
this is all up.
Meow meow.
Well, we know Austin's back.
No, that's
Discord
Like every
shows up.
town has like every city has a town where it's like this is where the original house. These are still the original houses.
And they're all run down as shit. They're like not
Yeah.
taken care of, even though they're such like a cool piece of
Yeah,
history.
but if you wanted to move into them, because they're almost always fluctuating out of people's hands, it's like 4 times the actual market price of any normal house.
Mhm. And you have to pay for all the upkeep costs because it's really fucking old. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And so the founder, the statue, sits on top of a wall and looks out at the rest of Hatch Square and Hatch Woods. Fell, Austin, since you were gone, I'll kind of explain what happened. I explained some of the lore of Glassridge, basically why the colors are different on the map. Part of it's owned by Bleeding Hearts, the Eternal Lights.
Yeah.
Leodon Estate is trusted because people colloquially, or not colloquially, pretty ubiquitously understand that they're not controlled by any external force, so they're trusted. That makes them one of the more powerful houses in Glassridge. And Elwyn came and basically said that you could borrow some of his clothes for the dance if you needed.
Sweet. I'll go borrow some of his clothes.
Yeah. As you guys are leaving the wall,
I
and,
totally ask for his help to pick up something because I am not
he'll help.
well-versed.
He'll help for sure. But before that, as you're sort of moving away from the wall, and you move past the Oasis boat rides and the Adventuring Guild, you sort of hit around Valor Square when you see that one of the bookshops is having a massive sale on a lot of their common books, like a lot of their common stories or shit that they have a lot of, a huge abundance. There's a giant clearance on books. It's 1 silver for 5 books.
There's a lot of books. Eyes blown wide.
Elwyn sort of notices Rethny's growing demeanor and turns, I've already checked some books out from here, but I guess I forgot to bring you all by. If you wish, go for it. I can
She's gone.
Oh, right.
Oh.
All right.
Speed walking away.
The sort of slaps of Rethney's feet move towards the library.
Oh god.
He's actually wearing shoes now.
The slap of shoed feet.
Wet.
Wet.
Actually not wet. Rethney had to get a balm to sort of mend some of the cracks that were appearing in Rethney's skin. But Rethney is actually considerably dried out.
Normal slaps of normal feet.
Yeah.
Huge shoes.
Particularly flat shoes. You know, like the flat shoes that when they slap against the concrete, you can really fucking hear it.
Sounds like gunshots walking down an alley.
I actually have the shoes are in the little ref PP size. They're in PP size.
The character PP size.
Yeah, character PP size. There's Rethney's new fit.
Oh yes.
They're not wearing shoes in that one. Wait.
Yes, they're the sort of the boots. The thigh-high boots. As you walk in, Elwyn sort of kind of leans closer to you, Rav, and he doesn't really care or notice about Fel. Basically he's leaning towards Rav, knows that you're close to Rav, but is not acknowledging you. Mother's coming back in probably 2 days. Maybe even sooner.
Right. I'm not really sure how to change or fix that, so.
I know you don't particularly want this.
No, not particularly.
I'll keep looking into what I can do to help.
If things are required of me to be done, then I will do my best to fulfill whatever that is.
Always the oldest, aren't you?
I have to try every so often.
Well, it's wonderful to have my sister back. I also want you to have your freedom, so I'll keep looking into it.
I appreciate that.
Pats your shoulder, knows that you probably don't want to hug, and leans back. Well, if you want some books, now's the time to get them. Do you read, Phil?
Do I read? No.
No, well. I'll see if there's a candy store on the way back to the Leodon estate.
Well, I don't read storybooks, if that's what you mean.
Oh, well, I mean, the library has... The library! The library has other books. I just know that most of their front section is storybooks. I'm sure there's some arcane texts, if that's what you're looking for. And he gives you a sly smile. Almost a creepily knowing smile.
Yeah, I'll go take a look.
And then he turns to you, Rob. I don't think they have whipping books in there, but there might be some things you're interested in.
Sure, we can take a peek.
Whipping.
Whipping books. Rob uses a whip, man. I don't know what you look at me that way for.
I'm just...
New dummy mommy techniques. How to really whip your sub into submission.
That's what I'm thinking.
I know that's what you're thinking.
Alright. Going to the bookstore.
Alright.
Some great books on display. There is... First of all, there's a whole new section for, upcoming new authors. Sort of like a spotlight for, independent writers to sort of be like, hey, I have a bunch of books. And they go, cool, we'll put them in the front window. This week's or this month's sort of new... Oh, goodness me. New writer is a writer by the name of Isaiah Stormfire. The sort of works that are included on the table are Voyage, a collection of short stories. Reading the back, it says it follows a young Fire Genasi boy named Lucian and his adventures on a steel raft across the Sea of Fire. There is a book called A Lamb Slain, the Xavier Chronicles, which kind of... The name Xavier rings a bell, but what you read on the back is not familiar at all. It follows Xavier Frim, a private investigator in the city of Brass, whose young son is killed in an accident, but he suspects foul play. There is a fire in the walls. A small family is upended when a magman begins to terrorize their new home. And finally, the last book upon the collection is Ash in the Metal, a political drama about the charcoal palace in the Plain of Fire. Seemingly, there's a theme here, and most of these stories take place in the Plain of Fire. There's a few more common books. There's the Fairy Tale series, which is written by Douglas Birch. It includes Fairy Tale The Wish Woods, Fairy Tale The Mirror Lake, and Fairy Tale The Sun Mountain. It's sort of a trifecta series. There's a lot of books about, mythological beasts and monsters, which some people are like, these monsters are real, I've seen them. Some people are like, yeah, I don't believe it. There is, if you want the more educational books, there are a few that are like lower level to mid level, sort of like arcane studies, clerical studies, druid studies, how to get more into with nature, if that's what your jive is. There's sort of like tool instructory books, if you want to start learning how to do a trade. If you want to start learning more languages, there's some language books. A lot of this for Rethny is shit Rethny's already seen, at least with the languages. But it is kind of refreshing to see storybooks and books about shit that isn't water themed, and shit that brings into perspective that a lot of the books in the library of your city were lost books that fell from boats and landed in the water and sort of floated down into the city. This is instead of being a broken series of literary classics, it's the whole series is available for you to pick at. So, just tell me what kind of books that, your character wants to pick up. If you want to start, really digging into your studies, if you want to dedicate, an hour of a short rest or an hour of a long rest into learning a new tool or language or something, you can let me know, and I'll,
I think Rethny will pick up one storybook.
One storybook. Okay. Any storybooks that tickle your fancy, or are you going with a non-named one so you can just make up the story in your own time?
I want a story about a tabaxi.
Okay. Story about a tabaxi. 100%. You can find quite a lot. There's, the classic cat warriors. Where it doesn't talk about tabaxis, but it does talk about cats that are sentient creatures. There's ones that do follow tabaxi like heroes. Concordis is a very diverse place, and so a lot of the storybooks will have diverse characters, and not just, the classic human protagonist.
He just wants one, a little guy, so that she can read it and think about her baby that had to go.
Rob, Fel, what books are you guys getting?
We're going. I want a Tinker Tool book.
Want a Tinker Tool book? Okay.
Tinker Tool book. I don't know if I use Tinker Tools.
Tinker Tool book, yeah, for sure. You find a whole it's a step 1 book, step 2 book, step 3 book to get you into the introductory of learning how to use Tinker Tools and become proficient with them.
Rob will pick up like a random language book.
Okay. Sick. Yeah, do you want me to just roll for a language?
Sure.
Slay. Wonderful choice. Wonderful choice. What languages do you already know? I'll strike them from my list. You know. Why do I keep on clicking on Wiki Dot, not D&D Beyond? Please. Please. Oh my god. Got. Boink. We could load these web pages just a bit faster. I'd be so rocking. Celestial, Common, Draconic, and Elvish. Okay. I think. Sorry. I'm also looking at other characters. This flute kind of banging, I can't lie.
It's
It's very calming too. Okay, so not a lot of people know. Okay, that's what I thought. Nice. Rob, you pick up a book on how to start reading and writing Sylvan.
Or
The language of the Fey creatures.
slay. I mean, shit.
You
fuck
do
yeah.
know Elvish, so it's going to be a lot easier for you to pick it up because a lot of the script is a similar script to Elvish.
Hmm.
But it's still a lot weirder than Elvish. It follows syllables that are not used in the Elvish language.
Right.
Okay, sweet. So,
Yeah.
guys, pick up your books. That one pays for it. It's only silver for your guys' collections each, so just pays a gold. He himself picks up a few of the new Isaiah Stormfire books. They look interesting. Always a big fan of supporting independent artists. And then you head back to the Leodon state to start picking your outfits.
Oh my
What
god!
the fuck is this music? Did I add
I don't
it?
know.
Wait.
no,
I'm
it's
not-
bussing.
Turn it on,
It's
turn it
busted.
on.
Oh, but,
No,
it's already,
don't-
but it's already gone. Oh
No,
yeah, I did add
hear
that.
it.
It was like we were in
It's Sunrise,
intermission in a
it's Sunrise-
rom-com anime or some
Yeah,
shit.
it's Sunrise Variation 6 by instrumental by royalty-free music maker.
I felt like we were in a romance anime for a second. We just hit our transition mark. We had a little eye catcher pop up.
Rob, what kind of aesthetic you going for this Blood Rose dance?
Do simple, simple elegance,
Mm-hmm.
kind of probably easy looking dress,
Mm-hmm.
simple elegance, maybe a jacket or something, very much I look appropriate enough to be here, but I'm obviously not going to put 100% of my effort into this.
Right. Rethny. What are you going
Yeah.
for?
Huh?
What are you going for? What kind of outfit? Plain dress up
Well.
with Rav.
First of all, I'm gonna talk to Rob first. First, I'm looking in Rob's closet.
looking in Rob's closet, there's a lot of, it's bloated with super regal outfits. Definitely not of Rav's choosing. They were placed in here for Rav's arrival. But they're very much like over the top, like ceremony outfits, like presents, like, basically when a rich person has to make an appearance at something, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not until you kind of get towards like a pile on, closer to Rav's cabaret or fucking dresser, where you start seeing like Rav's actual clothes that Rav's like, I'm going out and buying these to ignore these god awful ceremonial outfits.
Anthony's just gonna kind of go through it all, looking at all of them, making faces at some of the ceremonial stuff because it looks very tight and a lot.
Yeah, it reminds you a lot of ceremonial outfits that would fall again from ships during shipments or whatever, and they would float. But of course, those were a lot more like weathered and touched by the ocean. Your culture too. It's not like your culture only scavenged for these things, but they would either make their own stuff out of like kelp and coral and all these other resources they had, or they would scavenge from what would fall from shipments. So it's again interesting to see like these sort of like beautifully made and intact, untouched ceremonial wear, or really nice dresses.
Mm-hmm. They kind of just rummage through until she finds something that it's a yellowish kind of gold, and she picks it up, and it's a kind of like, it's a dress, and it goes to mid-calf. She picks it up, and she turns immediately to Rob, and she holds it up, and she's like, "This, you wear this."
You want me to wear that?
Yellow looks really good on you. It brings out your eyes and your hair. If you want a nice jacket over it, will be very, very nice.
Okay, all right, Bethany. I will wear it, and Rob will take it and go change.
Rescue turns back to the pile of clothes and goes,
What can I do here?
There's definitely a few like oversized dresses that don't really fit Rethny, but they do fit. They're oversized jackets for like Rav, but they fit like dresses for Rethny. There's definitely like a few scarves and other things like that you could probably use as like a sash or like a belt. There's quite a few things that you can't use them for their like initial intended purpose, but you can repurpose them into like different articles.
"Oh."
Jesus Christ! Sorry.
What the fuck was that?
Dropped a large object on my desk.
I look through until she sees like this it's obviously gonna be one of those big oversized jackets. It's a jacket, and it's a sort of ashy red tone. And so she picks it up, she looks at it, she goes, She puts it on. It looks kind of bulky on her, but when she like wraps it around her waist and picks up a sash or scarf and wraps it around her waist, and there's like a little bow in the back. Boom.
Wonderful.
It's like, I look like a sophisticated lady up here.
Look at me in sophisticated
Look at
society.
me, I'm a
Maybe I'll take a little
sophisticated
parasol
lady.
with me.
I'm not wearing rags that are teared from everywhere.
Wonderful. All right, Fel. You're in Elwyn's room, and you see, like, around you, there's a lot of books. There's a lot of sophisticated nerd shit. He's not like a geek. He's a nerd. So he's a lot of like, you know, map. He actually makes his own maps in some regards. He has like notebooks, and he like trains his what's the word? Calligraphy. He trains in calligraphy. He trains in like map making. He trains in you know, reading, writing, a bunch of other stuff that's much more meant for like tactician work, meant for casting spells, meant for planning and like city planning and like strategic stuff essentially. But he himself, like everyone here, has basically a walk-in closet. And as you're like standing there, Owen just sort of tapping his foot, leaning on the door frame, you can pick whatever you'd like, but it might be hard to find something to your taste. Can you give me what are you looking for?
Something to dance on. Yeah, that's what it is.
Something to dance in. Well, I guess you wouldn't want my three-pronged tailcoat that falls onto the floor.
What the fuck is a tailcoat?
It's a coat with a tail. It's in the name. Okay, alright. Well, anyways, if you're looking for a danceable outfit, probably looking for something more tight.
Correct.
We're practically the same measurements, and he gets up close to you, and he sort of like he presses his chest against yours, and like puts his waist against your waist, and he's like sort of measuring with his hand.
Not backing down either.
Like, a bit taller than me, a bit wider. I'll give you something more baggy on me. And he starts to look through his closet. Any color preferences? Any, you know, are you more into gold, silvers, reds, blues? Are you a shiny, bedazzly sort of person? I do have some if you're really into that sort of thing. Mother gave me a sequined jacket with rhinestones all over it for my 13th birthday when she thought I was into that sort of thing.
Reds. I like reds.
Reds?
Yeah.
Alright, reds. Let's see. Reds. And he begins to just flip through. Pulls out sort of 3 outfits. One is a pretty flowy sort of like, it's a lot less formal, but it's still nice. It's, you know, has sort of that flowy red sleeveless overcoat that is then met with like kind of ornate shoulder pads, and then, you know, it has multiple layers to it, and it just sort of like gets bigger and bigger the more layers you go down. And it has a giant sort of waist cloth that sort of like ties it all together. It's red. It has sort of like these intricate symbols running down the robe's edge. He pulls another outfit, which is like it's like a 3-pronged tailcoat with the waistcoat vest, the poofy shirt underneath, large long boots, and then he pulls out one more outfit, which is more like. It's more like a solid piece of cloth that you sort of drape over yourself, and you begin to like add more singular pieces to the outfit as you go along. Like you add things that are not like shirts or like waistcoats or whatever, but you add like pieces of cloth to it to make it into like a sort of outfit.
Yeah. Can you just grab the second one again?
Second one is more like, it's more like a 3-pronged jacket or a tailcoat with the 3 tail prongs. Has a matching color waistcoat sort of vest, and a poofy shirt from underneath that sort of like puffs out and that sort of ruffles over the waistcoat. Very long boots as well that come with it, almost as long as Rethney's thigh boots.
Yeah, sure. Number 2.
Number 2. Ooh. was expecting you to pick the 103, but this is... And he puts it up against you. Yes, you'll look great in this. Alright, go change. And he pushes you towards, like, one of those, I don't know what they're called, but it's like the sort of folding screens that, like, fancy rooms have.
Yeah. Well, he'll change and do it.
As you walk out, he sort of starts tapping his foot. Still missing something. I know. And he goes, you know, far into his closet and starts rummaging through things. And then he brings out, like, this sort of, like, brooch. Yes. And he places his hand on your chest, and he clasps the brooch onto your chest. It's a golden... It's like almost a rose gold, but it's much more orange than, you know, yellow gold or pink like rose gold. And it's just a antlered creature. It's hard to tell. It could be a deer, could be a, you know, an oryx, could be something, but it's definitely something that has very large horns, or antlers, I guess. And it sort of looks like it's leaping through the air, and he just pins it to your chest. It's our old family crest. I think you're ready.
I think so too.
Are you
Thank
going
you.
to dance with Rav?
No, an old buddy. That's all I was asked me to dance, and I would not want to turn down a friend.
We'll see what the night takes you. Well, shoo. Go have fun. Don't stand around me too long. I'll decide to go. No, I won't. I don't want to be around people right now.
See you later.
Farewell. Good luck.
It's always good seeing you.
It's always wonderful seeing you too, Phil.
And like they like wave as he's walking out the door.
Bye-bye. And as you leave, the door closes on its own, and you can just hear a and a plop down, like he like fucking lands on his bed or a couch or something like that.
That's just the man out. The fuck is a three-pronged coat?
Are you asking in
Three-pronged
actuality, or is that Fel?
That was definitely Fel.
Okay.
It's just,
I was about to say. It's just a, you know, instead of having two, it's got three.
It has three.
It's 3 tails on that bitch. Alright. We have Rav's outfit. We have Rethny's outfit. We have Fel's outfit. And now, we go to the Blood Rose Tavern.
Can I make a little tiny
Of course.
adjustment to the outfit? The only thing that changes is after Rob puts on what Rethny tells her to wear, she goes to a small box on like basically a dresser and opens it up and pulls out a new, I guess it's not new, but she pulls out a new signet ring. She lost her old one and she puts it on her pinky finger.
Very nice.
Always gonna have one.
That's-
Gotta rep the face.
Yeah. I also want to say that Rethny has pulled her hair up into a bun. These heavy ass dreads that she has on top of her head.
Fel's hair
And-
is down.
Ooh.
She's got like the two hanging
It's got a
down.
slick neck.
Mhm.
She's looking real sophisticated. She like she
Alright.
wants to look like she belongs,
The
even though
Rob
she
could
looks
look
like
about
she
the
actually
same.
doesn't. But
Rob
She didn't put
doesn't
nothing else in her head. Yeah, she literally puts the dress on, like maybe brushes her hair for like the first time in like 3 days, but it's like, yeah.
Fucking
ouch.
crunchy, dude.
She's still showering.
What crunchy when it's like tangled and it like you have to like almost rip through it.
It's not even like the crunchy because it's the hair. It's crunchy because the fucking brush and you're pushing hard against it.
Yeah, those royal brushes are not nice on the hair. They're fucking
No, they're like
daggers,
fucking like
bro.
metal. They're like these like metal like fucking prongs that
So
stick into your skull.
Wonderful. Well, you guys approach the Blood Rose Tavern as it begins to grow dusk. You see, from the coastline, there's smoke. And some shouting in the distance, but it's not necessarily unnormal for Glassridge. As you begin to enter the Blood Rose Tavern, it's a wonderful spectacle. Dancing, singing, joyous connections made by people of like minds. You can safely assume that a lot of people here are bleeding hearts. Mostly everyone here is dressed to varying degrees, but all of them, and I say none of them, are ugly. Every outfit is tailored specifically to some form of aesthetic. Even when the aesthetic seems like it's nothing, the outfit is still well put together. It's still, for lack of a better term, cunty. Bitches here are hot. That is just the Bleeding Heart's way.
You have to have a face card to get in, girl.
Straight up, if you're not mewing, mogging when you fucking get to the door, you're out, bitch. Get
You're
the
not
fuck out here.
voguing and dancing to house music when you're walking in. Get the fuck out.
Fucking hit the Vogue as you enter.
If you do not death drop in the middle of the circle, you're out.
You're gone. It's a stiff sort of, yeah, like, am I dressed well enough for this? Am I cunty enough for getting in? But once you actually enter the Blood Rose Tavern, it's kind of welcoming. It's sort of like everyone's like showing a warm smile, giving an inviting presence. Maybe there's magic in the air from all the bards singing, or maybe everyone's just fucking slammed, fucking hammered, dude. Everyone in here is like blood alcohol level of at least 0.03, so like everyone's getting sloshed. But people are dancing, people are having fun.
Everyone's fucking wasted, dude.
I said 0.03 at least, so not everyone's wasted.
Oh, 0.03. I thought you said 0.3.
No, God, no. 0.03 is like, oh, you've had a couple drinks and it's in your system now. You're going. 0.0, you know.
It's like they're all gonna get alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, no. Actually, they're all 0.8. They're at the lethal dose.
Yeah, somebody's already dead on the
Otherwise,
floor, and
yeah.
everybody just thinks he's passed out.
All right. Who is at the 0.3? Because they gotta drive us home.
All right, everybody, come take my breathalyzer test. As they like post up a magical sigil on their hand, and they're like, breathe on it. Like,
all right, you're the one with the 3. You drive home.
oh, dude.
Concordis is not endorsed drinking and driving.
Austin desperately wants to drink and drive, and he can only do it through the fantasy world of Concordis.
So shit.
What are you doing as you guys? Oh, yeah, sorry. This music is not indicative of what is going on. Imagine I just play fucking house music.
Rave, dude.
We're riding. I mean, most people that are walking or what, riding a horse. Like, I don't think it's illegal to drive a horse drunk. They should
Mostly
be
because
allowed
the
to
horse
drive.
can sort of guide itself if it really needs to.
You have an autopilot system on the horse.
Dude,
Get this man his keys! But it's just like the secondhand piece of the bit.
Get this man his reins! Get this man his saddlebag!
Free my man, he did nothing wrong! He hit 4 people with his horse. He did nothing wrong!
He trampled 4 children on a field trip.
That's their fault for going to the Blood Rose Tavern, dude.
So, look, man, my carriage might have hit his carriage, but let's be real, we were both drunk in that situation, so in all honesty.
They wanted the distillery tour, but instead...
Alright, yeah, what are you guys doing as you enter the Blood Rose Tavern?
Shit. Rob's gonna go try and find where everyone's getting drinks from.
Alright.
I do not think this far. That's like just Phil's immediate reaction of just standing in the doorway.
Rob literally walks in, sees people like smile, like just the smile wave combo, gives a few like light bows, and then like her whole face falls, and she just starts walking towards the like.
Towards the bar. What's Rethne doing?
First of all, Rethne walks in this place and she's immediately nervous. Yeah, she's not usually. She's a little uncomfortable with what she's like wearing. She's very used to wearing light and showing skin off and all that stuff. So she kind of feels a little out of place. So she just kind of walks over to a wall.
Okay.
Starts messing with the cracks in her hands.
Rethne's just like me at my first trip to a bar.
Well, I don't know, man. My Rethne is not like me. My first
Well,
trip to the bar.
my first trip to a bar, I went and saw a drag show, finished the show, stood like in the corner of the bar for like 30 minutes, and then left.
My first time going to the bar, I got blackout, and then I played pool with a few other people.
Yeah, I haven't been to a bar yet, but I know that if I go to a club where the type of dancing they do is jumping in the middle of the dance floor, I'm out. I'm not staying there.
No, that's actually what I want.
None of these bitches are giving me dance. Like, fucking dance.
I played pool with 2 stakes, right? If I won, if I lost, I drink. If I win, I drink.
They just give the most deadly eye roll.
This is it.
Alright, so Rob's at the bar, Rethne's on a wall, Fel's standing at the doorway.
Yes. Wonderful. Fel, sort of lounging near the doorway, sort of just like looking everywhere. And people try to come up to you. They try to make conversation. But you just kind of like do that empty sort of thing that like, just like, yeah, so true. Mm-hmm.
So true.
Till eventually, from behind you at the doorway, you just hear a and as you turn around, you see Sinris. And he's sort of just standing there. He is in, goodness, how to describe this? It's definitely a fancier outfit, but it isn't what a noble would wear. It's definitely got like some pieces that are draping. He's showing a little bit of skin.
Is this like a Talon trademark horror outfit?
It's a Talon trademark. If I could wear what he was wearing, yes. It has like a half cape. But it's not like to the point where it will like fling around as he's dancing. It's like very secure and like on top of part of his outfit. One sleeve is sort of off the shoulder, and the underneath his actual flowy shirt that is like sort of open a lot of the way, there's like an undershirt that sort of cuts at his chest, and his pants are flowy and they sort of split open when the further down it gets, so they have like sort of flaps to them, and he's wearing just like, you know, like ankle shoes, like the kind of shoes that like stop before your ankle and are like flat, sort of like kind of like ballerina shoes almost. And he just sort of stands there and goes, "You look quite nice."
So do you. Please get me anywhere but here.
On it. And he grabs your hand and he starts to lead you towards the dance floor.
I won't follow.
He like sees Rethne at the wall, tries to give a wave, but doesn't know if Rethne can see him giving a wave. Looks around, can't see Rob, and goes, "Well, she's either at home or at the bar." And then
at the bar.
Makes sense. And then he goes straight for the middle of the dance floor.
Oh, okay. This is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Rav, you're sitting at the bar, and the bartender is sort of this. They're a tabaxi, and they sort of have long flowing hair, and it's weird because in the moment you're like, whoa, bartender, tabaxi, kind of making me think of Gwen for a second, because they do have sort of that toned like aesthetic to them, but they're not as beefy as Gwen was. But like sort of turns around with a platter, and as you sort of spook her for a moment. She wasn't expecting you to, expecting another person when she turned around after doing all her work. But as she's handing out drinks, what can I get you, darling?
Honestly, anything that you have in hand or nearby.
Anything. Well, you want expensive or you want cheap? I'm kidding, it's all free. And she turns around and begins to make... All of the drinks so far have been red, and they have different name themes. Like, some are, like, based off flowers, some are, like, blood, whatever. But she makes you a very pretty... It's like an ombre drink. You can definitely see the colors, like, shifting as it goes down. Sort of starts pink, gets deeper red as it goes down. Has a actual, like, rose petal garnish. And there's, like, crystals on the rim. And she slides it over, dusts off her hands, and goes to the next patron to you, right next to you. Like, what can I get you? And Kay, would you like to describe your character?
Yeah, sure. Isaiah Stormfire sits at the bar next to you, Rav. He has somewhat, it looks like a notebook that's been scribbled in a million times and erased countless more. And his head is kind of just ducked down. And you can kind of hear him mumbling to himself, "Betwixt, twist, list, no, nothing's right." And as this bartender kind of speaks to them, doesn't even register what happens for a sec. Just looks up and says, "What? Excuse me?"
Drink, darling. What would you like to drink?
Oh, water?
I mean, alright. It's sort of like shrugs her shoulders and just goes to get, fresh water. It will take
Thanks.
a second. Most of the alcohol is at the front. I didn't expect anyone to order water. It sort of goes towards the back.
Okay, and he kind of just puts his head back down, writing, "I've got it, perfect," and begins to scribble another line in his book before he shuts it, and then kind of looks up and starts to take in the room.
Yeah, taken in the room. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Perfect. Oh, I should do it in this super cool application that I have. Or maybe not. I don't know if I have hardware acceleration active right now. So +3? That is a 16 total.
16 total. Despite how fancy and joyous and fun this place is, it's also kind of boring in terms of overall inspiration or overall uniqueness, when everything is so fancy and colorful and cunty. It's also, as a whole, a lot less, because there's nothing to saturate it. There's nothing to, give comparison or clash against, until you sort of look at the depressing, noble next to you. It's not their clothes that tip you off, but it is their demeanor that is very I don't want to be here.
You see as this Fire Genasi in this smoking jacket, this like maroon smoking jacket, whose hair is tied up in a ponytail that just turns into like a pillar of flame at the end. Turns to you and says, "Looks like you've been through the ringer."
I think that would be an understatement. And being here is almost as bad as it was earlier this year, actually.
Well, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Isaiah Stormfire, published author, poet, and historian at your service.
Right. Rav. Published nothing. A pirate once.
You're from a family of some sort, am I correct in that?
Unfortunately.
You just gave the air of a desperate noble.
Oh. I thought after a few years at sea that had been washed away with salt, but I guess not.
Some things you can never wash away, Rav.
Suppose so. Ravafina Viedon, at your service. And she'll kind of do
Very
like
nice
a
to meet
curt,
you,
like,
Ravafina.
half bow at the like, bar top.
I take it these aren't really your style.
No, I haven't been to a dance in 30 years.
You're 30?
I'm much older than 30. I would hope that my looks don't give it away. 118.
Sorry, I'm new here. And by here, I mean all of it.
All of it. Okay. If I had more energy, I'd ask you into that to describe it, but truthfully, welcome. Stay for as long as you want. Leave.
I do feel
don't
very
think anyone-
welcomed.
Oh,
Your library embraced my collection with open arms.
great. I'm sure at some point I'll read something of yours.
Oh, please do.
It was Isaiah
Stormfire.
Stormfire.
Yes.
Right. And what are you doing here, Isaiah Stormfire?
I'm working on my book.
Do you want to write about snobby nobles and annoying gangs?
Maybe. I haven't quite decided yet.
Well,
So far, that's pretty much all you can write about in a place like this. Maybe I need to go somewhere else.
not sure where else to recommend you. I think most places right now are snobby nobles and annoying gangs. At least it's not another romance novel. Those get boring fast.
I'm more into tragedies.
I'll get behind that. I feel like that'd be a better book.
Here's your water, darling. And
Oh, thank you.
Slides water. It's fresh. It's got a little condensation. It's hot in this fuck ass room. There's so many bodies dancing.
I mean, I touch the glass and the water becomes warm.
Yeah.
So
Only ever drinks lukewarm water.
So is there a reason you're not drinking at an event like this?
oh, I like to keep my wits about me.
So you're a lightweight.
That is an assumption, but an accurate one nonetheless.
Yeah. Okay. And Ravel takes a bit of her drink.
Rethny, as you're
Hey.
standing against this wall, you sort of eventually see as like another person joins, like if, not at the same spot you are, but like a little further down the wall. You can see someone's like, you know, is essentially like just hunkered down there, is with every other song sort of like swaying back and forth, but is mostly staying, you know, away from the group or from the party as a whole. And you look and you recognize this figure. It is Zerk. It's the bard that attempted to hold up essentially the crack's end and play shittily and get people to give him money.
I've just died.
Oh.
Rob just died.
Or did just
Rob is alive.
You also see more people congregate sort of towards the dance floor, with a few stragglers. If you wanted to, you could talk to Zerk. You could talk to a few of the bleeding heart stragglers, or you could, what would you like to do? There's a lot of things, a lot of options.
I'm thinking. I think we'll kind of like look over at Zerk.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, it's more of a damn, he's here.
Yeah.
Kind of looks, and she'll just kind of hopefully like not get attention as she gets up away from the wall and walks away.
Mm.
And so she kind of like is moving through the crowd.
Right.
Very big moving through this crowd. And she's decided that she feels alone and she just wants to be when there's somebody she knows.
Mm.
She sees Fel getting thrown around on the dance floor.
Thrown around.
She goes, not yet. Turns to the bar.
Alright. You turn to the bar, you see Rav is talking with someone. Along with that, there are a few people that you've definitely seen on your trips around Solon, but they're not like friends particularly. They're just kind of like people you assume that, oh, if they're here, that means they're a bleeding heart, and so you sort of just seen them around Solon.
Rithni will head towards the bar, and instead of sitting beside Rob, she sits on the other side of Isaiah.
You're
Crash. That's crazy. Isaiah, as you're talking to Ravafina, you just feel this large presence like move beside you and like sits down on a seat in a very loud presence bringing. And as you turn, you just like your eyes go to like her shoulders and then look up. You see Rethny.
Oh my. I'm sorry, say again?
I said hello.
Hello, Isaiah Stormfire.
That's me.
Very nice to meet you. Are you acquainted with Ravafina?
Yes, I am. We are currently living together.
Oh, sorry?
Yeah, you just like turn to Rav, and Rav is just like using the excuse of the beautiful drink that's in front of her to completely circumvent this conversation.
Well, very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
I have a feeling that we share the fact that we're not from Glassridge. Correct?
Yes. It's very, very dry here.
I can see how that would be a problem for you. Not quite for me. It almost reminds me of home, but not quite.
I could see that.
There's definitely sand at the bottom of the ocean.
Let me see here.
Rethna, you would recognize the name Isaiah Stormfire from the section of the independent authors from the books.
Yeah, yeah, I'm waiting.
With that, Fel, you're sort of...
Yeah.
I wouldn't say you're being thrown around the dance floor, but you definitely are being led, as Sinris knows his shit on how to dance. But with your dexterity, you're able to confidently at least keep up.
Yeah.
And as you like sort of break away and come back together, you're speaking. So, how's your life been since you left Solon?
Not much better than how it was before, but actually worse. But that was to be expected.
At least you got out and saw the world, right?
I don't know if the world saw me.
Not quite sure what that means, but sure it was a delight nonetheless.
No, Lurin is
Alluring.
interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. So, is this your most recent experience with the Bleeding Hearts? Better than when you left?
Well, from what I hear, a little bit before I joined up with Rob again, they didn't have an interest, but they had an interesting experience. A few Bleeding Hearts.
With the Bleeding Hearts?
Yeah.
In Alluring?
Yeah. What's it called? What's the little island called?
Runeset Isle.
Yeah.
You
Or
didn't,
like
you didn't have
fuck ass. or something.
Farkas.
Yeah. Sorry, Breathy kept calling him fuck ass.
No,
That's
Farkas
stuck.
is correct. You didn't happen to know where he is last.
Chad, did we kill him?
Did you say Chad? Did we kill him?
Yeah, Chad, did we kill
No,
him?
he ran away. He ran away.
He ran
He
away.
got real close, but he ran away.
Oh.
Wait, did we kill him?
I'm
Killed
pretty
him.
sure.
Killed
Yeah, I'm
him.
pretty sure we.
Oh.
You
fucking-
killed him as he was
Ate
running
him.
away.
Well, I remember that we went off
Oh,
map,
yeah.
and then I just was like, I'm not chasing him.
It was Droll and Lucenda fucking like booked it after him.
Yeah.
From what I hear, one of his own men got him. So.
And you're sort of... And as you, like, continue dancing, his pace sort of begins to slow. And, like, he almost gets distracted before shaking it off. Good. That fuck-ass can die and rot in a grave for all I care. As he begins to spin you, he, like, begins to, like, vent his frustrations. That son of a bitch stole and robbed from us to go on his own little adventure to Runeset Isle, all without the permission of our lady in red. And he just thinks that he could get away with it, maybe round up a few renown with her. I don't know what he was expecting. I'm glad he's dead. And he sort of, like, spits on the floor, and, like, digs his heel,
like,
digs his
dodge
heel
it.
on it, as he, like, pirouettes spins.
It doesn't sound like something. Doesn't sound too far off of something we would do as kids.
I mean, and he, like, brings you back in as he's, like, dancing in. Sort of, but Farkas was a grown man. He was in his, like, 300s.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. He was constantly trying to win approval of our leader. He was a little pissed when I rose above his rank. At the age of 16, mind you. And he sort of, like, cracks his neck. I don't know. Like I said, I'm glad he's dead. I can report that to my
The
superior.
lady in red.
No, I don't speak to the lady in red specifically.
I don't think anyone really does, from what I hear.
She has her two right hands, which I report to, and then people report to me, and people report to them. Farkas was at the bottom of the pyramid, you see.
Yeah.
I'm sort of 3 steps up. Basically, what I'm saying here is, top of the pyramid is, you know,
we're at an MLM.
The top of the pyramid is, you know, the Burning Heart, the Empress of Flame, the Red Lady, tons of titles that you could not keep track with. Head honcho. Then, you know, who report to her, who help her 2 right hands. And then after the 2 right hands, each time, are 3 people that report to them. So, basically just keeps going down by 3. So, each right hand is in charge of 3 people. Those 3 people are each on their own in charge of 3 people, and then those 3 people are in charge of their own 3 people, and then that bottom of the pyramid is in charge of their own groups. So Farkas was at the bottom of the pyramid, and he was the leader of his own group, which included Droll, and included some other people. And so Farkas would have reported to someone who reported to Sinris. In fact, well, Zerk, who you met, isn't the one who's in charge of Farkas, but he is upon basically the same leadership position. He's in charge of 3 people.
Oh, man.
It's a lot to keep track of, but
he's in charge of other people?
Yes. And I've had a talk with him, and I think at some point he's ready to apologize, and he sort of like leans off towards the wall that Zerk may be wandering around. He's just embarrassed.
Yeah.
In any case, enough about my work, enough about Farkas. How is Solent since your return?
Same old. Going back to my roots, I guess.
He like cocks an eyebrow. So the same old.
The same old.
Oh, dear fell.
Yeah. Look, it's the best place to get information.
Oh, guys.
Especially when it comes to the arcane, at least.
True. Are you fighting?
More like winning, but yeah.
How smooth of you, and he begins to spin you again and like dips you.
I'll let him.
As
I'm
that,
just gonna stay because this is super hot.
as that song ends, Sinris sort of breaks away and, you know, sort of like takes out a handkerchief and like wipes his forehead.
What did Leroy say?
Just hit me with a huh?
Huh? And Sinris like lets you both take a reprieve from dancing, and he begins to walk towards the bar with you. Well, if you ever need any assistance in getting information, or if you need some supplements to help in your fights, I know.
Supplements?
Well, not that came out wrong. I don't mean like taking potions and drugs to enhance your performance. I'm sure you perform very well and adequately. But I mean more.
Come on.
I mean more like magic items. I'm sure I could find some for you at a discount price. Well, and he sort of thinks to himself, probably not right now. Tensions are high with the Eternal Lights. They blew up one of our ships a couple hours ago. And you think about it for a second, that's probably what the smoke was when you guys were doing it. It does make trade a little more expensive, but when the things settle, the waves, the tides calm down.
I'll keep you in mind.
Well, thank you. And you guys sort of...
Maybe Sinris and Rob have some beef, because maybe Sinris is like, man, I should be dating Fel, and Rob's like, the fuck? Bruh.
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 In fact, as you like finish downing your drink, you just go, ooh, and as you turn your head, you do see Sinris and Fel like approaching the bar, and you can't really make out their conversation, but there's definitely like the flirtatious presence of Sinris, definitely like talking to Fel and smiling and laughing, touching his shoulder.
and Fel's not reading a single thing about it. He's just talking
Not
back.
at all.
You know, I think Bob actually would find it kind of funny. I think she'd probably like kind of like laugh under her breath as they're coming up.
Sort of reaches the bar. Brav, you made it. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Super lovely party you're throwing.
You're pretty popular, Rubafino.
I made quite a name for myself before I left Isaiah Stormfire.
Isaiah Stormfire, are you the writer?
Yes, very pleased to meet you. Are you a customer? A purveyor of my
Write
fine
a
work?
paragraph or two. Not a big
Please
reader.
read more.
I'm quite busy. I have people read to me when I can. I'm not that rich.
What
As he
a-
like
what a
whispers to
life.
Mel. I'm not that rich.
I expected you were not.
And Rethney is what Rethney was, right?
I don't even think Rob is that rich. Actually, the Rob is totally that rich.
Was Rethney correct?
Yes. I forgot your name.
Sinris.
Tingus. I'll try to remember that.
Pleasure.
As always.
No, of service or any of that. Just the pleasure.
It gets repetitive.
Right.
So, is there anything that I can do to increase your enjoyment of this event? Or is it, just quite a lot for you?
Perhaps
Are you
allow me
talking-
to perform a soliloquy?
Oh,
Oh, you wish to perform? Yes, I can have the bard step down for a moment.
Wonderful.
Make sure this Zerk
Which
guy
one?
doesn't see you. He might get jealous.
As I was
Friggin-
telling Fel, Zerk does wish to apologize. He's just a bit embarrassed, so he's been sticking to the walls. He's not awful. He had some bad tendencies before I became his superior. Right. And he goes over to the boards, and they, he talks to them, and they sort of nod and begin to like slowly fade out their song. Except it won't be a fade out; it'll be a. Oh, it's kind of a fade out. And he sort of like ushers for Isaiah to come over, and he's like, "Friends, guild members, bleeding hearts, we have a poet who wishes to spill their soul onto the dance floor. So please give a warm hand and a welcome to Isaiah Stormfire." And he
Ruffle
sort of-
clap.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Fella's
And then
going
he's
to
gonna
sit
snap their
down.
fingers, like you do for actual poets.
Mhm.
Fella's going to sit down, look at Rob's drink. Is there any left in it?
No.
As you're
Yeah,
like sort of
what's-
eyeing it, the bartender goes, "You want some, darling?"
Yes,
No, okay.
please.
Can you make that too?
Of course.
I'm not a poetry guy.
Brings 4. Makes 4 of them actually. All right.
Oh, thank God. You read my mind.
Here's but a short sonnet. I will not take much of your time.
Uh-oh.
This is Isaiah Stormfire, the warmth of a lover.
Okay.
Lovers are kindled fire, warm if kept attended, but left alone, a change occurs unmended. Lovers may burn, the flames lick your face, lovers may go cold, unnerved at the space. So keep your lovers close, well fed and well tended, for a fire keeps you warm until the storm has ended.
I'm down.
Wow.
Fella's down to it already.
Rob has
Maybe
finished
you'll
half
find
of her
your
drink.
lover tonight. Have a good
Of
evening.
course. Yes, everyone, please enjoy the festivities. If there's anything anyone needs, please let me know. Of course, as you all know, free drinks, free music, free food, whatever you'd like.
Yeah, but you don't.
I'd consider buying one of my books.
Yes, please go support Isaiah Stormfire in one of the many libraries that carries his book. Of course, I don't think the shitty Blueberry Library carries anything, but anything within the Gilmere ward will carry those books.
You gotta get some blueberries.
Started to like chug her drink, and then probably like the third line, she like actually put it down. And was like, this actually isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Felder does stop drinking.
Isaiah will sit down, and then you watch as he just starts to draw lines through text in his journal. And then shuts it.
Do you
That
only
was-
say it once?
You can only perform it once, darling.
Darling.
Darling. Darling. I love it.
One pump chump.
Damn!
What is with all the sexual
no.
tension in this goddamn dance floor tonight?
Isaiah's just that kind of guy.
He's just that kind of guy.
Just that
He
guy.
gives that energy.
Just that
Anyways,
kind of gay person.
He's gay.
As Sinra's sort of like, he has to kind of tend to like people asking for things. There's definitely people that are not bleeding hearts here that you can tell because one, they're not that hitting that hard on the red theme, or two, it's like sort of like a and thing. It's like one and the other, carrying like the crest of the bleeding hearts, which is a sort of, it's pretty on the nose. Dagger through the heart and wreathed in flames. It's a new symbol. Sort of from the one you're familiar with. It's a lot more gaudy. It's a lot more, like, on the nose, like, we're the Bleeding Hearts. They've gotten more bold since you last knew them. And it probably comes with having more territory.
Excuse me, Mr. DM.
Yes.
Do I earn any tips for my performance?
Yeah, sure. You get... Roll a... D12 for me.
D2.
D12. 10.
10. You earn 15 gold pieces.
Hey, yo! That doubles my current net worth.
Or just bet it all on black. I mean,
That's definitely an Isaiah thing to do.
gamble all of his life savings and then get really excited when he doubles it and gets $20.
So fucking true. As Sinra sort of makes his rounds, is there anything anyone else would like to do?
I don't think Rav is doing too much. I think she's like people watching and drinking.
Through people watching, you guys sort of get the same general information. Through asking around, and probably through Fel as well, you get the whole, like... Sinris is pretty high up in the guild, but he's not the highest. He still hasn't talked to the guild leader. Still hasn't talked to, like, anyone that he's not associated with, but he is in, like, charge of, like... I think it's, 15 people? And... sort of more, but the way that it works, it's meant to like sort of lighten the load, because when you're only in charge of 3 people and they're in charge of 3 people, you sort of don't have to worry about the people they're in charge of. But it's definitely still a flawed system in some ways.
Yeah, until your bottom line starts doing horrible shit. Like holding an entire tavern hostage and making their ears bleed.
Yeah. And speaking of which, eventually Zerk does work up enough courage to approach the bar table and is like, hello all, I would like to apologize for my behavior to both of you and the people of Crack's End. I will be working with the tavern owner to rectify my mistakes.
Glad to hear it, Zerk. Maybe that can help you out with some songwriting.
Yes.
Oh, are you a fellow bard, Zerk?
I have always wanted to be. And I've never been quite good enough. And I took out my frustrations on people in an unfair use of my power.
Oh, to be a bard just takes a little bit of courage. You just have to stand up and perform.
Maybe one day.
Maybe today.
No. And he just
No. Phil just like pat
Stand up
him
in my
on the-
encore? No? Okay.
Phil will pat him on the shoulder and just like you'll get it. You'll get it.
hopefully.
You know, you try to nurse some of this new talent, and they just turn you away.
Well, because you decided to throw that new talent to the wolves.
You have to learn somehow.
Zerk does move away from the group. Now that he has done his, embarrassing speech, he goes back to the wall where he sort of like chugs a drink. Half, probably.
Part of me that feels bad here that that's his like childhood dream.
Yeah.
But there's
it
another
really
part
did.
of me that doesn't feel bad because he was basically a bully and kind of a piece of shit, and he just wasn't that good.
Who knows?
That's pretty much
Well, I
it.
didn't do that.
I shouldn't know that.
Oh yeah, he
Maybe-
went to this tavern that we're friends with the owner of, and he would go perform and then force everybody to pay him money.
Oh, yeah, that's not in the spirit of it at all.
No, not at all. No.
You actually take tips from the
You
other
have to
part.
move people to earn your keep. That's what makes you a good bard.
Yeah. You would actually move the other bard out of the way and
I
take
think
her tips.
washing dishes will help him gain some personality.
Might be right.
Eventually, Sinners does return. Holy shit. I hate having to make face. How's everyone here? Good? Still good? Still mediocre? Looks at Rob.
Yep, still mediocre, Zenris.
I just
Sinris,
knew mediocre. Yes.
did you mention a exploded ship in our previous conversation?
I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but you may have overheard it. Yes, there's a exploded ship on our docks.
There's been talk around the party, you know.
Does that sort of violence happen often in Glassridge?
The tensions between the Bleeding Hearts and the Eternal Lights has been at a standstill for a while, but they're getting a little bit more bold with their attacks, I do have to admit.
You could say it's heating up.
One could say.
Maybe that's the title of my new book.
Oh my god.
Story-wise, I think you've got something good there. Heating up might need a little bit of work.
Really? That felt perfect.
Maybe a chapter name called Heating Up, but I feel like the whole book title might not.
No.
I want something more hook.
The rise and eventual fall of the gang violence in the town of Glassridge.
Quite long, but informative.
I feel like when gangs fall in Glassridge itself will fall. They're kind of a pretty big aspect of the economy.
It is quite true. But hopefully, we whittle down how many gangs.
Sure.
Phil looks at his invisible watch.
I don't think. Just that, actually. I don't
think.
I don't think ever.
You know, Isaiah, my mother is a big purveyor of the arts. Whenever
Wonderful.
she's back in town, maybe I can give her your name.
That would be greatly appreciated, Rav.
He would be a
You
wonderful
give her my
sponsor.
name as well.
She despises the fact that violence is what is accustomed to in Glassridge, but fortunately the Bleeding Hearts have a pretty high
Yes,
namesake in
pretty
previous
good.
violence.
We've attempted relations with the Leodon estate.
She's not a very... she's not really, she's a nature over nurture kind of person.
You know
Well,
who's
attempted
more
relations
aggressive
with
against the
the
idea than your mother, your father.
Well,
If it makes you feel any better, Rob's mother doesn't like me either.
When he mentions her father, Rob will kind of like look down at her drink again and like move the second one over that she's not finished and grab a third one.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't know if there's new family tension I wasn't aware of.
I mean, father's always been the surprisingly more kind of the two of my parents, but he also has a very, I guess, virtuous heart is the best way to put it.
Yes.
But he's also not there. He's decided to do something and has disappeared.
That's all.
I mean, I tell you this in confidence that you don't go and use this slight falter to convince my mother of something ridiculous, but
I promise, Rob, I would never do something like that.
I'll have to take you on that.
It's strange. I didn't take your father to be one that up leaves.
Me neither, but apparently he has.
I hope safety and prosperity wherever he is, and a safe return. And he sort of gets up. I'm ready for more dancing. And he looks to Fel. If you don't wish to, it's fine.
Maybe. Kind of best.
Wonderful. Anyone
I have
else?
someone else I'm gonna ask.
I guess I could dance. It's been 30 years, but
And he places his hand on his chest. Oh, Rob, you do not know how happy that makes me. And he lends out a hand.
take it, and then she'll kind of look at him and be like, well, if I sat at a bar the whole night, it would probably look bad on me.
So true. If I remember correctly, you're quite a good dancer. You lead. And he sort of takes up the position.
Fel's arm goes like up, like what the fuck?
I was a good dancer back in my 40s. I am not 40 anymore. I haven't taken a classical lesson in 60 years.
Oh, it's like riding a bicycle.
What the fuck?
Do I need to roll for this to see if Rob can recall how to dance?
I will give you the option of rolling a performance check with a lower DC, or you can roll a history check and then a performance check, but if you do well in the history check, you get advantage on the performance.
Okay, give me 2 seconds, because when my monitor crashed, I had to restart my computer.
That's good.
Okay, so I'll do the history check,
Okay.
and then the performance check. Alright, so history check. That's a nat 20 for a 24.
Slay. Yeah, you can, like, keenly remember some of them, like, especially a lot of the beginner to intermediate moves of, you know, some of your more classical training.
Alright, let me roll my... You said it's
Performance
advantage, right?
advantage, yeah.
Okay. Alright, the first one is a dirty 20,
Okay.
and the second one is an 8. So, dirty 20 it is.
Dirty 20. Ralphina, you begin to take just the initial steps of a nice classical, elven, sort of Glassridge blended dance. And at first Sinris is like, I don't know this one. And then as he begins to, like, move with you, he's like, oh, I see. And begins to, like, obviously let you lead, but he's sort of, like, getting it down. It's like, okay.
Sorry if it's not in current times anymore.
Oh, it's more of a... It's akin to a sort of saunter that a lot of tradesmen brought to Glassridge, but it's got definitely a different influence about it. Sometimes I forget that the Leodons are old family.
Sometimes I wish we could all forget.
Well, it's not like you have much competition out there, I'm gonna be honest. The Gilmeres are sort of apathetic, and the Buxleys are idiots.
Sounds about right.
You're not too keen on your noble duties, are you?
No, Sinris, I'm not. But my mother, as much as we have our dispositions, there's obviously trouble in Glassridge and the world currently. So, should I need to step up a bit, I would feel wrong to deny that at this point.
It's very noble of you.
You know, as much as I've run away multiple times, I still end up in positions of power, or management, or responsibility, and at this point, I'm starting to wonder if it is just fate that I am not allowed to relax.
Fate is a curious thing. I didn't think I'd be at the position I am now. And while it's not what I imagined for my future, I do think I was meant to be here. At this moment. Dancing with you, dancing with Fel, in this gaudy tavern, in a gaudy guild. But fate shouldn't take away our freedom. I sense that you bear the weight of the world on your shoulders, Rav, but don't let it crush you.
Big words for someone in middle management.
Damn. Damn.
I'd at least call myself upper middle management, actually.
Of course. She's like smiling, but
Yeah.
upon hearing his words, like she is really like thinking about, you know, all of her choices,
Yeah.
all of the wrong and right ones she's made, and how it has still led her back to what she has adversely tried to avoid.
Life will try to put you in a box. Best you can do is go with the flow.
Sinners, if I take over in some manner the I don't name, I am not opposed to creating, at the very least, a healthy relationship between us and the Bleeding Hearts. Have had some not great interactions
Yes,
with.
I've heard about your unfortunate meeting with Farkas.
What was his name? I always forget it. Rethny always calls him fuck ass.
Fuck ass is so much better. I really do enjoy that nickname, and I'm sad that no one called him that when he was here.
It was a good
I
one.
love that we have just canonically put fuck ass on Rethny.
I did say it.
You did say it. But I love that it's just the dynamic that off screen Rethny just repeatedly called him fuck ass every single time she talked about him. Which is so in care.
But I also met with some slightly important people in other gangs, and I've realized that you're not all as bug-like as I assumed.
I would hope I'm not a worker ant. I would hope that I'm more like... Wow, I really don't know my bug lore. I'll think of something clever a different time. I'll tell you what next time we meet.
Of course. What I'm trying to say, though, is that I'm aware now of the fact that while some people in your guys' groups may have some nasty things planning and plotting, it seems that for the most part, you guys tend to have a generalized okay goal that is not just destroy an economy, take over a town, or be bandits for fun.
Indeed, the Bleeding Hearts are simply, at least, what I've tried to make sure happens, is poets, singers, artists of any kind that try to make the world just a slightly less dreary place. And Glassridge is far from dreary, but it's also far from artistic.
Yes, I've realized we don't tend to get a whole lot of incoming homes. It's a lot of actually old blood and then people leaving them.
So much old money in trade.
It'd be nice to have people want to move here, have new ideas.
Have you seen the God, what is it called? Shit. Have you seen the shanty towns outside of Glassridge?
No. I been here for about a week and I haven't really left the house much.
They've only grown bigger since last we were kids. The slums just gathering more. I hope at the very least I'll be able to do something about it.
Yes, it's a bit unfair that if you're born with less opportunity, there isn't really anywhere to go in Glassridge. It's either you have money or you don't.
Or you resort to doing unsavory things to get ahead. And he sort of says that with a bitter taste in his mouth.
Right.
So there's another shot in the background.
Fucking Fell and Cinder's dance was flirty and like I feel like probably everyone else is still kind of just like dancing, and then fucking Rob and Cinders are like waltzing and just kind of both are like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Serious fucking
There's
conversation.
like an air of like sadness around them.
It's definitely, and it's, I like to imagine that in this scene, the sort of like all the like fun dancing's happening in a circle around them. And there's just like a very strong, like stark line, a break, a clearing in the dancing where it's Sinris and Rav dancing. And it's almost like a spotlight is on them. And the air is both melancholy and also a weird warmth of understanding. Like they get each other to a certain degree. And, you know, as the dance sort of ends, Sinris bows to Rav. Have a good rest of your oh my god. Have a good rest of your night, Miss Leodon.
Wow, tell them to stop pointing left.
Yours? Hopefully you'll get a well-deserved promotion soon, if that's what you're aiming for.
As always.
Maybe you can get out of upper middle management, just upper management.
Management is the dream.
Upper.
Pension, 401k.
Oh, a house on the seaside.
And Rob will go back towards the bar where the others are.
Sinris sort of like stands there in the clearing of dancing for a moment. And he saunters off somewhere.
I guess that was a better. As she gets closer to Fel, she'll kind of like Fel and Rethny actually. I think Fel might not have been there, but I think Rethny might have when
Fel?
Rav played the blue rollers when she played chess.
Yes.
Mhm.
Fel was there,
We're
but he
all
was in
Okay.
disguise. He
Right.
was actually
Yeah.
one of the blue rollers that was sitting next to.
Okay. I feel like I was like I can't remember exactly, but as she gets closer to them, she'll kind of look at them and be like, I guess that was a little bit more fun than a chess interaction with a leader of some sort.
Care for one more?
Not particularly.
Mhm.
It was dancing and talking, which is most of my energy. And she'll kind of sit down and grab the drink that she had started.
Fell slides his over as well.
Eventually, you watch as Zerk gets over his embarrassment, gets over his guilt, and decides to enjoy himself. Probably because of the 3 drinks that he's down at this point. But he begins to shuffle into the dance floor, and I mean, he's a much bigger figure than a lot of them, but he's not the only large member of the Bleeding Hearts. So he sort of blends into the crowd and begins dancing. And the festivities continue well into late night. So just tell me whenever you guys would like to depart.
Rob is probably fucking good like an hour or 2 after like the dance. Like if they all just kind of sit there and like chat and sit at the bar, probably like an hour later I was like, okay.
I was dancing at least one more time.
Rethny does kind of want to dance.
Yeah.
Like, dancing is like her thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
After that
This
sort
is
of like
great.
interaction between Cindrus and Rob, Fel, Rethne sort of getting up to dance. Does Isaiah go to dance?
Isaiah's dexterity has all been used in his hands, not necessarily a dancer. He does sort of still sit at the bar with his head in his book, unless the party mentions leaving.
I think after, give me Fel performance check, Rethne performance check. You can't fail at this, because dancing is self-expression, but seeing how much awe and attention you get from it.
Fellas,
Natural
Gangnam
20!
What the fuck is my shit at?
That's time for 22!
Nice.
Jesus Christ,
You're doing good
18.
tonight.
I know.
We're all
What?
dancers apart.
We're all dancers at heart.
Tiny dancers by Elton John touch.
I want to be a modern dancer!
Whisper weird things to say that came out of nowhere.
Nowhere. I want to be a superstar.
Yeah, I
wanna
think
be a
Rethne
modern
got
dancer.
18?
Rethne got
Yeah.
18.
Not rough. Hell got
1822. You guys are taking it by storm. You guys entered this sort
Can I
of.
start a conga line?
Oh my god, you can start a conga line if you want, but you guys
You
definitely
fucking
you guys
so
like are definitely
big, you
newcomers.
start the
You haven't been
conga
on the
line.
dance floor as much. You fell a little bit, but he was accompanied by Cindrus, so of course everyone was looking at you guys. But you're kind of drawing your own attention as well. Both of you are tearing it up on the dance floor. There's definitely like people being like as you like sort of get into the dance circle, they're like, oh yeah, get it, go, go, go.
No,
you know?
like, the best part is that if you guys seen how Talon's hair reacts, because Fel's hair is a similar length when Talon dances, so his hair's just fucking all over the place. He's fucking having a great time.
Rethne's so big, everybody's just like, whoa.
Whoa. Oh
Whoa.
shit! Whoa!
Oh,
like,
shit!
they're like,
Oh,
they're-
shit.
first they're like, whoa, okay, you're taking up a lot of space, and then they go, oh shit, never mind, take up that space.
Give her the space! Give her the space!
Back up! She's fucking breakdancing.
Yeah, like,
doing the
we just-
worm on the floor.
Oh shit!
Rob
The worm's a
Brickner
lot
break,
easier
like,
underwater.
talking to herself and being like, wow, it's like I'm a parent of 2 kids.
The bond is gone.
Oh yeah, it's completely unraveled. You guys dance. Isaiah and Rav probably share a few comments and drinks, and eventually you guys come to your limits of social battery. Or at least Rav does, and Rav begins to
I was like,
You-
time to go home.
Do you intend to leave, Ravina?
Yes, I do. I'm not going to force the others to go. That would be unseemly, but I also wouldn't want them staying out too late. Glassridge is not the safest place.
Would you allow me to accompany you?
You know what? I think that would be a great idea. My mother, of course, isn't home currently, but when she arrives, if you're nearby, I think that might actually quell some of her anger.
Wonderful. I'm glad to be of use.
It's also free bed, which is always nice for almost any aspiring poet, right?
Yes. Free bed would be great.
Isaiah Stormfire has been sleeping on a cot in some random person's home that allowed him to stay there for like 3 silver a night.
I mean, I assume that's why you wish to come, but
Not necessarily.
I should probably ask your intentions then.
I get the feeling that you get into trouble, Rav. And I would like to be there when it happens.
So you
Rob
can-
points at the dance floor. The trouble is right there.
Well, of course. You would be fairly compensated, of course, if it came down to a published work. But until then, my work is my own.
That part I'm not too worried about. Isaiah Stormfire, I keep calling you by the full name. I think I'm just going to stop now. It was funny the first few times, but now it's becoming repetitive. But Isaiah, I will warn you. I get into trouble a lot, sure. I wouldn't say it's just me, for the record.
Well,
Just
obviously not. You have some characters about you.
But
Yeah.
if you're with us, if your talent is writing, it might not be the safest venture for you.
I have my ways. You needn't worry about me.
All right.
Fate
Sounds-
always seems to kind of point me in the right direction.
Fate. It's like the 4th time I've talked about fate tonight.
It's an important thought.
Sure. Well, I stand by my first point. I think you being there might actually quell some of my mother's anger, and I've already displeased her enough. Any small token of gratitude towards her may shorten her anger by very little, but enough for me to maybe skip by.
It would be a pleasure to meet Mrs. Leodon, was it?
Yes, Mrs. Leon. Sure, she's like that. What
Well.
the fuck did I name my mom?
Lilith.
So true. I forgot that I was
Oh,
like
true.
LMAO. What if?
Patty.
Rethny, Fel, you do see that Ravafina and Isaiah are beginning to leave the tavern.
Blow this pop stand.
I'm leaving then. I like fucking dance my way off the dance floor and then I start walking away.
No way.
Rethny will grab
like,
a whole, like
I'm
the
like
back.
I'm like 4 or 5 shots in. I like just like a drink. I'm out, dude.
Rethny is gonna grab the back of Fel's like shirt thingy and dance behind him.
Oh, this is not mine. This is a rental.
You know,
Please.
Fel's
don't do
doing
that.
the sort of like 80s like point finger
Yeah,
down and
so
up shuffle
true.
as he shuffled out of the circle, and then Rethny just started dragging him, and he's still doing the point. He's like, "This is a rental."
This is a rental. Don't scratch it.
And
It's okay, my claws are not out.
Why would your claws be out? My claws aren't out.
Rava kind of
I
waves to
know,
them. and
baby,
then
I know your
walks
claws are
away.
not out.
Oh, that's right. I look really different when my claws are
What a
out.
bunch of
Yeah,
belligerent
you do look
idiots.
different with your claws out.
I'm like
I
I'm like
only
this
hang out with
tall
light
as
weights,
you.
apparently.
I didn't Rethny didn't even drink.
What the fuck?
Rava's had like 4 drinks and is buzzed, probably.
under the starry night sky of Glassridge, you begin to leave
Yeah. I'm-
the tavern.
I'm with a bunch of lightweights, says the alcoholic in the room.
You begin to move through town. Nice feeling. A wonderful night. The
Rethny's
music,
probably gonna still hold on to Fel so he doesn't wander off.
yeah. Music, the very energetic music begins to fade in the distance, and you sort of just hear the night activity of Glassridge. Obviously, some people are still up. Many people go out in the evenings. Many people are still up in their homes, such and such. Sort of move through the roads. It's a nice, calm, peaceful evening. There is a weird moment where in the distance, don't know if it was a bird. Birds aren't out at night. You don't know if it was an animal. You don't know if it was a group of hooligans. You don't know what it was. You swear you hear. Far in the distance.
Isn't that just unsettling?
I would love to account that for just normal Glassridge night activity. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of drunk people walking around, but no, that was weirder than normal.
Do you intend to take a look, Rav?
No,
Alan,
I don't.
Yes, Fel.
with me having a like keen hearing, can I tell the direction that it's coming from?
Yeah. It's further down by the coast where most of the boats are.
Got it. Don't end the night just yet.
All right. Is Fel sobering up as he hears this?
Oh, no.
Okay.
But when we get back, and I give the clothes back to Elwyn, I'm getting back out of the house.
Okay.
We gotta put a leash on him. Damn.
Put a lead on.
No, I'm not going to go figure that out. There's half a chance that it is something cool and crazy and it'll result in a fight, and there's the other half a chance that it is just some drunkard who has slipped on a rock and thought that was the funniest thing he's ever seen in his life.
Fair.
I also don't want to babysit Fel.
I'm fine.
You guys eventually reach the Leodon estate. You drunkenly kind of stumble into, we're like, it's kind of sober at this point because of the walk in the fresh air, but you do sort of like walk in and Elwyn's like, wow. Well, I'm surprised you didn't spill anything on it.
Pleasure to meet you, Isaiah Stormfire.
Oh, a new friend.
We brought a friend.
Wonderful.
Author and poet?
Oh, Isaiah Stormfire. And then he goes into his room and he sort of like slides a book off his table and he points at it and he's like, the same Isaiah Stormfire.
Oh, yes. It's such a pleasure to meet you. Please, if you don't mind.
Oh, yes. And he hands the book over and you can see a bookmark. He's already halfway through the book.
I will take out a quill and sign the inside of the cover, and then close it and hand it back.
Wonderful.
Always nice to meet a reader.
Of course. It's quite good.
Thank you.
I thought he could be of use to quell some of Mother's anger when she arrives and sees so many people in the house.
Absolutely, you are correct. And he sort of places the book back. Great thinking. I'm going to help Fel get changed out of my... you can keep it if you want, Fel.
I would love it.
I just heard slurring. I don't know what he said.
I would love it.
You would. Okay, wonderful. And he pats at your shoulder and he takes off the brooch first, and he sort of clasps it in your hands. And he's like, "Keep that as well." And then he ushers you to the spot where you get to change, and he sort of, helps. Whenever he can, he's like, "Just toss me the shirt, I'll catch it," like that sort of thing.
He tosses it over.
Each thing he's like grabbing, he's like, "Okay, well, don't throw it at my face." And then he hands back your clothing that was like neatly folded on the bed.
Isaiah, I can take you to a spare room if you'd like. I think, since you're, a savant of the arts in some way, I'm sure that there's probably a room nearby the library or the study, if you would prefer those. If not, there's plenty down on...
Near a library would be wonderful. I haven't had quite as much time to do research as I would enjoy.
There should be one, unless she's changed the layout, there should be one, like, a few feet down from the library, so it'll be a small walk, but nothing crazy.
I give you much thanks.
Smaller room than normal, but...
I will grow accustomed, I'm sure.
Rob will start to lead Isaiah to said room, praying that it hasn't been changed into something else while she's been away.
It hasn't been repurposed. It's definitely not as furnished as it once was, probably because it wasn't being used as much. But it's definitely still like a bed, the basic, necessities.
I had a friend that would stay here every so often. I think we're friends. My mother took a very, very big interest to him. He doesn't live here anymore, which is good for both of them, I think. But everything should be clean. It's the real big winner.
Oh, I didn't really have any concern about that. I mean, look at the state of this place.
Right, as you walk in, all of the hallways are like freshly swept.
It's been a couple months, but I welcome the glam of noblehood.
Yeah, it's something.
It wasn't too long ago that I wandered halls just like this one.
I don't know if that is supposed to hint towards you being of a higher bloodborne, or if you...
Oh, in no way do I call to any house. But I did what you, I believe, intend for me to do for your mother, for many royal family.
Yeah. I'm just going to let you know, I don't intend to force you to stay. Once you meet her, if you choose to leave in any way, you'll have the right to do so. It's not a contract or anything that she should make you sign.
Good to know.
Just like to warn people. I know that there's other noble households that are a bit more, intense.
Understood. This place just keeps getting more interesting.
My room is, a few hallways down, but it's one of the larger doors, so it should be able to find it. You'll probably see trays of food outside of it. When they bring food, sometimes in the morning, I don't eat it, and then when they try to take it, I tell them to leave it because I feel bad, and it's a whole runaround mess. I should probably just let them clean it.
You see that I say it just starts to like slowly nod at you and says, well, thank you, Rav, for the accommodations. I can't repay you.
I didn't expect you to. Your repayment is quelling some anger, but yeah, feel free to explore the estate however you wish. The library, like I said, is a few doors down. There's a garden across the way. There's stables if you know animals, but most of them are family animals, so they might not particularly be keen to new hands.
I will likely steer clear.
If you ever need a game of chess, Elwyn will always indulge in that, or I can be persuaded as well.
Understood. Sounds like a wonderful little place you have here.
I wouldn't call this little. This is actually... I haven't been in this house in years, and it is so much larger than I remember it.
I was being facetious, but...
Understood. Had a few drinks. The walk normally, where most people would sober up, I feel like I'm finally starting to digest them,
As what does. If you don't mind, a lot has happened today, weirdly enough, and I have quite a lot to write about.
Oh, of course, I'll leave you be. Apologies.
No apologies necessary. Thank you again, Rav, and good night.
Good night. Wow.
Wow.
I started to do the God of Stat thing, but then I forgot how it went, so I just...
Holy shit.
Sorry, talent disappeared, so now we're...
Now we do not...
Unruly.
We...
Riot.
Rocket
fucking starved.
Rock and Stone. Alright, guys. So, Kay's gonna be taking over as DM for a minute. We're gonna play a Rock and Stone campaign.
We're
Sorry.
gonna start talking about League of Legends comps.
Oh my god.
League of Legends!
I left to go to the bathroom, and then the hallway was dark, so and the door to the bathroom is black, so I fucking full body slammed into the bathroom door, and I fucking, dude, all 4 of my toes, except for the big toe, fucking hurt. Dude, if I was a cartoon character, I would have done the like the
Isaiah's gone to right in his room, and Rob is walking back to hers. I don't know what Rethley's up to.
Yes, Rethny, what would you like to do?
Rethny is in Rob's room as we speak, changing.
Oh, Rethny just went straight to Rob's room, and Rob's had to go in the door and be like, "Oh, I forgot that you were gonna be in here."
Rethny is. I want to say Rethny has half her clothes off. She's like,
Rob opens the door and goes, "Oh!" and then sees Rethny's not wearing clothes and covers her eyes and is like, "I forgot that you were, you changed in here. I just forgot."
Oh, I should have told you. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. And Rob will kind of sneak in and close the door and then just face it while Rethny's...
Yeah, she puts back her normal clothes that she had on.
You guys have been adventurous for
done.
months. You know, you've definitely seen each other's bodies.
Yeah,
for months,
Rob is
so,
definitely. They literally changed earlier, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the unexpectedness.
Rob is now feeling the drinks, and so she's like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, I'm so sorry. Just peeking through the fingers. Yeah, so true.
but Rob will also change and go back into the equivalency of like fucking sweatpants and a t-shirt.
Right. And
Damn.
Fel, I'm assuming after you get changed, you are leaving the
Like a
estate.
like a drunk college student who's been living in the same town all his life. I'm going to run the exact same route I would use to sneak into the Leodon estate as a child in reverse.
Right. So, you are doing this stealthily.
Yes.
Would you say that the alcohol is fully out of your system at this point?
No.
All right. Give me a stealth check. At straight roll, because I would say since you've done this route before, it's advantage, but you were also pretty buzzed, so disadvantage.
I had to put you on my phone. My PC has crashed yet again.
Damn dog.
Wait, what you doing to that thing?
Running Valorant.
It's crying.
Yeah, if we're gonna be doing a Valorant comp match in a tournament, we gotta get your PC fucking liquid cooled.
It's so true.
And by that, I just mean dumping milk on it.
Dumping milk?
Yeah.
So let's say 23.
23. Very nice. Very nice.
I'm the drunk college student that gets away from the fucking cops.
Just because I think it's funny, you are going to pass someone's window, and they will notice something, but I'm going to roll a d4 to see whose window it is.
Please be Elwin or Isaiah. Please be Elwin or Isaiah.
It is, in fact, Isaiah Stormfire. As you're writing it, as you're kind of taking in your new surroundings. And you're looking for inspirations in even a dull room, and it kind of does give you like a, spark of, inspiration. Just the situation itself, really. And as you're taking it all in, you sort of hear a rustling in the leaves, and you're like, what's that? And sort of looking, and then you look at the large-ass window that's, like, on the side of the building, and you do see, like, the flicker of, like, golden, that orange hair, similar blue streak that you've seen before, like, moving down, like, these vines that climb up the wall, and, like, through the brush, you just watch as a figure sneaks away.
Do I pick up that this is probably Fel?
You can make that,
Assumption.
Yeah. If not Fel, someone sneaking around the estate.
A headstrong drunkard going to do something stupid. Sounds like a perfect recipe for a tragedy. Isaiah will stand up and go to his door and attempt to follow Fel stealthily.
All right.
Come on, my friend. Come join me in stupid drunk activities.
I think it's just wonderful in terms of situation that you're able to follow Fel pretty accurately, and Fel is too preoccupied with acting sober to really pay attention behind him if someone's following him. However, you're both moving stealthily in terms of, like, Ravafina, Rethni, Elwyn, headstrong, fuck-ass brother. I'm forgetting his name.
I don't know. They're smart
Theron.
and then dumber.
Yeah, Theron. Most of the populace in North Glassridge. And you start traveling through the night. I'm assuming that you're heading for the original source of the laughter, Phil.
Oh, of course, Talon. Where else would I be going?
Isaiah, you sort of cross... at some point, you're like, oh, okay. I can put together that at least he's going to the scene of the crime where we heard the laughter. Fel, eventually you cross that threshold, and you actually end up not. This isn't where the source of the laughter was, but you do end up where that once was a body on the ground that was being patrolled by the Iron Brigade. There's definitely blood, like dried blood, on the sandstone streets. There is no more tape. There is no more body. No more crime scene, basically. But there is that, if you'd like. Or you can continue towards the source of the laughter.
It's kind of actually. I was curious about this before.
Mhm.
I wonder if there's now anything left behind.
All right. Anything left behind? Give me some examples that you're thinking about.
I'm specifically looking for tufts of hair. Things that indicate a defensive fight happened.
All right.
Or whether this was a slaughter. Like, was there any arcane magic that went off? Just a multitude of things.
All right. Give me a investigation check at advantage.
Can I see Fel at this point?
Yeah. You can see him sort of sleuthing around this one spot of gathered buildings.
In my book, I write under Fel's chapter. Fel searches through the now left crime scene and finds ... I'm giving you bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
So
you get a D8.
15 plus my investigation. I have a 9 or 17, I think, in intelligence. 17, 18. My computer is still on the fritz at the moment. But
I can check for you. Give me a second.
with
Fel
the D8,
has an investigation of D6. Or, sorry, not a D6, a +6. Jesus.
So then that's another 6 on top of that for 12. So 15 plus 12.
Damn, 27. What you find is definitely more akin to a slaughter. Not only do you find the dried blood, but you even find bits of teared flesh that was not picked up from the crime scene by the hunters. Mainly because they're almost too small to tell that they're really anything. And they're not exactly the best samples, considering they've been sat on a sandstone road for a while. But there's some in the bushes, there's some in the road, and there's definitely the dried blood. There is almost no struggle at all. And it almost feels like, from the way that the blood is splattered, that this person was facing the buildings, facing the buildings when they died. And you're looking around, and the small alleyways and the roofs, and you're looking at all this information, and you think this person was surprised when they were attacked. They didn't even have a chance to react.
Is the blood facing towards the wall or towards the streets?
It's facing away from the building, as if they were attacked from that side. They were attacked from the building, the blood splatters away towards the streets.
Do I remember which way the body was laid?
For sure. I mean, they were just prone on the ground, sort of like they had been pushed or fallen to the ground from death, and of
Head
course,
up.
head up. Yeah.
So they were attacked from the building, walking into the alley.
The alley doesn't seem walkable, and you don't think someone would walk into there. But it's definitely like they were either going home or they heard a noise and they were trying to inspect it from away from the building.
Fel will write in his book this information.
All right.
Before continuing towards the laughter.
Okay.
And where that was.
Go towards where you once heard the laughter. When you do so, you start heading down towards nearer to the docks. Obviously you see, you see the boat that was destroyed, and from what you can assume is the Eternal Lights, Bleeding Hearts, sort of warfare, but that's not really too interesting to you now. That was a little to the left of where you heard the laughter. You move more towards the right, where you start to get into, like, the warehouses and, the sort of, like, production part of sailing and boats. And there's activity in them. There's, like, sailors who are, like, people that, like, this is the night shift, essentially. And so you're sort of, like, sneaking off to the side so they don't really notice you. But something leads you to the idea that whatever was attacking that did it from a secluded alleyway and a roof. And all this noise that's being made from the dock work, you don't think that the laughter came from here. Sort of continue further off to the side.
Am I still following in this case?
Yeah. And there's eventually near the end, sort of near Trader's Square, still on the Gilmere ward, there's almost like an abandoned building. Almost, it's been closed for a while, it seems. Broken windows, fucked up door hinge. Just a lot of shit that makes it not usable until it's repaired. And it looks like maybe the Bleeding Hearts had plans to repair it at some point, but they've sort of, like, obviously their attention is somewhere else right now. The exploded boat.
Can I hear anything going on inside?
Give me a perception check with advantage.
Or maybe even see. As fucking Isaiah probably just sees, like, his longer elven ears twitch like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like,
you have
actually
+3 to this.
That isn't peak. He sniffs, like, he, like, full on stiffs the fucking air. 15 plus 3.
15 plus 3.
So it's
2 things. Through smell, you smell the pungent reek of rot. Through hearing, you hear the faintest bit of laughter.
Is it familiar?
Sounds a lot like the laughter you heard before.
Mm-hmm. But I've never heard any.
But a voice like that? No.
Am I being watched? This is not me trying to sniff out Isaiah, more on the sense of the general local population?
Can't really tell like any unseen presences, but in terms of like people, no, there's not really anyone by here because this warehouse is closed down. Sorry, what?
I'm looking at hybrid transformation and seeing how long I stay in it. I want to try to stealthily. Like, this is like an abandoned warehouse, right?
Yeah.
So there's like windows up on the top.
Yeah.
I kind of want to. I want to find a way to get up there stealthily.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check. Straight roll. +5.
19. What the fuck is happening?
Slay.
Take these dice away from me.
So 14 +5 for a 19 or a 19 +5?
It's a 19 plus 5.
19 +5, 24.
I'm just gonna start rolling in D&D.
Okay.
And so my computer crashes again.
Are you following?
Yes, I am.
All right. Also give me a stealth check as.
Let me see at.
I love-
Let me see. I need to make
I love
sure.
when I drag K into doing stupid things.
So this doesn't count for any of my shit. God damn it. Okay. Okay, 15.
15.
I got 11 plus 4.
Nice. Isaiah, you start to watch Fel, like, even though he's like still a little drunk and you can see him like stumble a couple of times, he's like very well, very acrobatically climbing up like the scaffolding and like all this, and like he's like maneuvering his body in like tight places and pushing himself up just by his hands until he eventually gets to one of the top windows, and you're like, what the holy shit, until you eventually like essentially sort of move around the building to get a different angle, but to like still see him, and you begin climbing a much easier, but it's still like
Until you find stairs.
until you find stairs. No, it's like a bunch of boxes that are precariously like stacked up in each other. A lot of them are like broken in and rotted wood, but you like carefully step. There's a moment where you're like, if I fall, I crack open my head and die, but then you're like, oh, it's fine. And you push up and you like sort of have to bring your head up a lot more than Fel, who has a much more comfortable position. But you begin to look in the window as well.
Do I still not notice this motherfucker?
No. Like I
I'm
said,
God.
you're too busy, one, trying to sober up, and two, focusing on your goal.
How far away from me?
If you're on the long side of this warehouse, Isaiah is on like a different, like the adjacent wall. So like Isaiah is on the wall that's like opposite of the door. You're on like the wall that's like right by the door, but like.
Because I thought this was gonna be so much funnier if he's like.
If you're like right
feet.
next to it, like
yeah,
like...
if he's like 20 feet to my right. I like the fucking what is it? It's Tom and Jerry where they're fucking like he's sneaking. They're just sneaking, and then the other person's sneaking behind him.
Yeah,
no clue.
Isaiah, what you see is two figures, sort of by the door. They're sort of like hunkered down, like breathing heavily, like they keep looking through the doors and such, to like cautiously checking. One has ginger hair and the other one looks to be more like a Triton.
Okay. From that, I'm going to oh no, I don't have the material components for this. And they cost stuff. How do you wanna I need 100 GP jeweled horn or glass eye.
Wow.
Wow.
Do I have that shit or like defo not? I like it's fine. I can probably
yeah,
get
you can have it.
Slay. Okay. Then in that case, I hold up a glass eye looking through the window, and I'm going to cast Clairvoyance.
Okay.
And just put an invisible sensor
Right.
in the middle of whatever this building is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to listen.
Listen. All right. Jamor, we can't hide here forever. The bounty hunters here in Solent. We have to leave. Can't just keep leaving. I'm sick of running. We didn't do anything wrong. We killed. Though, you know what? I agree with you. But the world does not. The Lord of Glimmering does not. This bounty hunter is no joke. We could die. I know. Thank you. For what? For sticking by me. You didn't have to. You didn't have to help me commit murder. Why, when committing murder is a bit aggressive. No, it was murder, Roldos. Killed a man. But he sucked. He was horrible. He was a horrible human being. I mean, yes, but it's still murder. Could have lived a wonderful life in that church. I wouldn't call it wonderful. Neither would I.
What was those two names that were mentioned?
Jamora, Xiomara, and Roldos, Roldos.
Perfect. Thank you.
Fel, what you see is completely different. Simon and Alice / Jamora and Roldos are covered by what is like a landing, like a second floor landing.
Yeah.
What you see is so much different. You watch from this window, sort of looking past, and you're looking at what seems to be this like spindly figure on a railing. It's shadowy. Its claws gripping the railing are almost like fingers that have been whittled into a point. Flesh and bone massacred by a knife. It turns its head, not looking at you, but not looking in your direction, but it turns its face as it's like peering down into the warehouse. You see its smile is pulled tight by puppet strings, and its teeth are splintered and whittled down to the same effect of its fingers.
Oh, how dumb am I? Oh, how dumb am I?
And Isaiah, you begin to hear the laughing too. And as you're watching, sort of, and hearing, you watch as like Jamar and Roldos begin to go.
You Fel takes like Isaiah sees Fel take a few steps back. I'm Batmaning through this fucking window.
However, Fel,
Of course. Take it.
as you are looking at this thing,
Mhm.
it is terrifying. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, here. I know it's good. I'm not gonna miss. 8. Yippee!
This thing,
Oh.
its head doesn't move, but it looks like its eyes shift, almost like a painting that's always watching you as it looks at you. Its eyes wide open, no eyelids, always watching. A fear sets in you. You do not want to get close to this thing. You are under the fear effect. You are frightened of it. And that is where we'll end this session.
Okay, I love dragging you into stupid things. I love
I'm
dragging
a
you.
little bastard. I'm a little